Hi there, welcome to the Kitchen at Westminster for another episode of Saving Time. This week, we're coming up on Easter weekend, so I'm getting sorted out about that, and I thought, you know what, quiche. It's great make ahead, it's a good meal anytime, and over Easter maybe you kind of do a big family breakfast sort of thing. And then it would be lovely to have quiche. Don't lose track of it though, just as a regular kind of meal. Comes together really with whatever you've got. We're going to do one today with spinach, tomato, and a Swiss mix of cheese. And I mean, that's a classic Florentine, but really anything goes. If you've got onions and mushrooms, put them in your quiche. Do what you've got, okay? And just fill it up with good things. I had a couple, well, 4 eggs left in my fridge, and then a graceful gardener in our church community came in with 2 dozen farm fresh eggs, right? So we've got a good blend going on here. So really good deal on that in that they were free. But for everyone else, No Frills has the 18 pack of eggs on sale this week for $3.79, which is a good deal because lately a dozen eggs is a little over $3. So you got the 6 extra in there. And great way to get ready for Easter weekend, any baking you're doing. Everything else I bought at Freshco this week. And we're going to serve it with fresh fruit. Okay, but feel free if you want to do a side salad, do that, French fries, anything goes. It's your meal. I've already made my pastry. I got it ready ahead of time. We made pastry quite a while ago in the meat and potato pie episode. Please, there's a link below in the description box to that episode, or just scroll back through the Saving Time episodes and you'll see it. So you can follow along to actually see how to make pastry there, but the ingredients are listed. 2 cups of flour, some shortening butter, really, it's nothing. You can put it together easy peasy. We're gonna start getting our eggs ready. This is from my spinach and my pastry. So I've started a compost bowl. It won't be long until it's coming back as more food. Right? Gardens, oh my goodness, you should see all the work that's happening around my house. We have a room in the house with some grow lights where we start plants, and it is busy, holy mackerel. Not just vegetables, it's also got flowers started for the flower beds. It's a beauty. I love this time of year because it's full of hope. Right? Things are cleaning up outside and getting a little better and all of that. I should say we're making 2 quiche, okay? Simply because you can freeze quiche. So when you make pastry, you're making enough for 2 pies. So go ahead and make 2. If you don't think you're gonna eat both, get 1 for the freezer. And then you've got a meal that's, an hour away from the table some other day. Suddenly you've got some company coming, you can throw a quiche in, who knows what makes a great lunch. Hot dog, that was some dishes on the drain board over there that slid, I'm sorry about that. And wasn't scary really. So the other thing is if you only want to make 1, cut these ingredients in half. I'm doing 2, so I've got 8 eggs going. This is good for planting stuff if you wanted to, and you can even put like corrugated cardboard like that in your compost pile. Okay, don't ignore that as a possibility. I'm gonna give these a start, break up the yolks. I'm a little warm in here today, which is a great thing for a change, right? And it's not just because the oven's on. The oven, 425, start preheating. I thought of it before Shannon did even, which is saying something. I usually come in and start getting things a little bit tidy around here. Honestly, the pastry took me maybe 5-10 minutes to mix up, and then I was another 5 minutes rolling it out. So, whatever we're doing here, plus 15 if you start from scratch. Just get those, you want to get them light, and there. And then we're going to add some milk. So we want to add, what have I got? 1.5 cups of milk or cream. Now, I did a little mix. I had some milk and I mixed it with some 10%. Honestly, the heavier the cream, the richer the flavor, but if milk's what you have, there's nothing wrong with using milk. Again, as always, if you've got a can of evaporated milk, feel free to use it. 1.5 cups. Right in like that. And then just blend it in. Easy, easy, easy. Make sure you get a bowl that's big enough so that you don't have egg flying all over the place. There we go. That can go over there out of my way. Now a little salt and pepper. As always, I think about half a teaspoon. I'm sorry, excuse me. About half a teaspoon of salt. Just, you can always add pepper at the table, so don't go too heavy right now. In terms of things to add, oh my goodness, like you've got some broccoli. Frozen vegetables are fine, just thaw them first. If you're using mushrooms, onions, things like that, there's some things that you might want to do a little saute first to have them cook. It's really just going to come down to what you're putting in. Go about a teaspoon, maybe a little more of dry mustard. That's it. It sets with the eggs. It's nice. Don't ignore that. Okay, do that. And if you don't have dry mustard, you could put a tiny, think like a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg in there, but something. Okay. And then what have I got down? 2 tablespoons of Parmesan. And that's probably a little shy. I'm going to do 3 of those and call it 2 tablespoons. There. And that just is all through our egg. And then what am I missing? Nothing. That's it. Give that a good whisk to get everything blended, all your seasonings through. And in terms of seasonings, I mean, you're really going to think as well about what you're putting in there. If you've got some cooked ham to chop up, a little bit of bacon, anything, okay? Just go with what you know your dining partners are going to enjoy. Ham and cheese. Choose your cheese according to your fillings. If you've got ham, cheddar's a good choice, right? I mean, you can't go wrong with cheddar. We can set that to the side. We're going to get our fillings ready next. I rinsed and cut the ends off the spinach, and I'm just giving it a little spin to help it dry out. There, not much came off of it. That's good. Whoops. That one jumped. Jumper. Okay, and then that can go to the side. Always best to get rid of extra fluid off of your vegetables. You have to give them a rinse, but then you really want to get rid of it. And a tomato. Looks so nice, right? And choose a nice firm one so that you can slice it easily. And there. We can get rid of that. And that will come back to that little bit at the end. And then, again, you don't want like giant pieces, so slice as thin as you can, which is the secret of having a relatively firm tomato. If you have a super ripe tomato, it's almost impossible to get nice, tidy, clean slices off of it. And somebody said that, how do you cut the tomato so thin? Well, they were starting with ones that were really meant for the pot. Okay, once they get too soft, it's not going to work out for you. If you are going to freeze some quiche, super easy. You're going to prep all the way to this point, just as we have. Get it all ready. You're going to bake it and then cool it completely and then freeze it. And then you reheat it from frozen. We could take that and that. You won't let that go to waste. We'll come back to that first one that still had a little bit in the middle. Get rid of that. There. And now, just, you don't want to cut them so small that they disappear, but you've got to be able to cut your quiche later. So usually I think in terms of, you know, just, I almost got my finger. I don't know if that showed on camera, but it was close. I felt it whiz by. We won't worry. It didn't happen. And then we'll just finish that off, and then we'll do our spinach. Easy peasy. We're just going to lay the fillings into the bottom of our pie crust when the time comes. There's that sneaky bit. Got it. And we can start chopping. Usually when I do spinach, I try to kind of make a little stack cut one way and then just to tear it up. I wouldn't wilt your spinach ahead of time. I don't think you need to. You don't want it to be slop in there. So, I mean, you're gonna know if your crowd's gonna hate it or not, but I wouldn't. I didn't. It'll cook a little bit in the quiche, and again, you don't want the extra liquid. And if you wilt it, you're gonna have a hard time getting it drained. I think I can do at least one more little pile here. If you choose to go spinach and you've got extra, by all means, make a spinach salad to go with it, right? And otherwise, spinach is great on sandwiches, especially at this time of year. I find the spinach is nicer often in the stores than the lettuce. So, I mean, because that's like a nice crisp leaf for a sandwich. So don't let it go to waste. I'm just gonna grab these pie crusts. We are almost ready. Like, this goes so quick. So quick. 1 and 2. I put them in foil plates because at Kitchen at Westminster, we send this food to local families. So I didn't want to have to chase people for a pie plate. And so I picked up some of these. I should say the spinach was $1.99, I think, a bunch, and No Frills is where I picked it up. Really cheap. Tomatoes, $1.49 at Freshco. Take that off. We might be able to get a reuse out of that, we'll see. Could happen. I'm not above it, trust me. It's because it's a shame, right? That. Now, we'll just divvy this up. So we've got both crusts. You can see I just kind of tried to bring it out to the sides, a little bit over the edges, and then we can start. Scatter your tomato around. You want, in terms of fillings, you want, what did I write down? I think 1.5 cups or 1.5 cups per pie, per quiche. And so just if you're using other fillings, think in those terms. You want, that's a 2-cup measure, so you want to fill that almost with fillings. I think I've got lots of tomato. That was a big tomato. Too bad I cut it up this much. But it's too much. I should have kept a couple of slices. Dang. Oh well. And now sprinkle your spinach in there. And make sure you get it so that, imagine, I mean, everybody needs some, right? So you want to make sure that it's around your plate. And there we go. That looks pretty good. I did a little too much of that too. Looks like Shannon and I are having a little salad off camera. A little tomato and spinach salad. Maybe we need some toast. We can get that. That was my handy hold still plate. I'll just set this over here. I'm not ready to compost that yet. I might try to eat that up still. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to set, if you're using a proper pie plate, you won't need to do this. The foil ones, they tend to get pretty wiggly when they get hot. So I'm going to set them on here to go in the oven so that when I lift them out, I'm not working hard. And I could fit probably 4 of these on one at a time, and isn't that handy? You know, right? Because then I have 3 for the freezer. Give that another stir. And that's going to sit right there for now. And I'm sorry, I'll just have to deep behind Shannon a second. I know my spatula's over here. Sorry about that. Got it. And you know what I'm going to do, Shannon? I'm going to dry it on my apron. Ha! She thinks I never use my apron. Okay, we need to divide this. You suit yourself. If you think it's easier to pour it by putting it into 2 measuring cups and worrying that much, you go right ahead, okay? I'm just going to pour it over. And then we'll go 1. And then I'll get the other one looking the same. And then we'll divvy up the rest. See? That one. There. They'll be good and full. There. And don't waste any. Scrape that out of there. Don't let it go to waste. Get it on your pie. Now, I didn't put any cheese in the bottom. You can if you want, but I like to add the cheese when they come out of the oven and it melts on the top nicely. If you wanted to, you could put a little sprinkle inside, but it just kind of gets thick and not great. I prefer to add it at the end. I'm gonna pop these in the oven. They're gonna bake at 425 for just 10 minutes. Aw, look what I did. I bumped it all up. Sorry, now we can't get a reuse. Aw, gee. 10 minutes. Shannon's laughing at me like crazy. 10 minutes at 425, and then we're gonna turn the oven back to, what have I got, 350 for 35 minutes. Total baking time, 45. I'm gonna clean up and I'll come back when it's time to turn the oven down. Timer just went on the 10-minute mark, so I'm gonna turn the oven back to 350, okay? And it's gonna go now for another 35 minutes. I just set my timer for 35. It's gonna be great. Pineapple. We're having pineapple. I don't have my knife. My knife is over here. I'm sorry, I am not as organized as I should be. You know what happened? I washed up my dishes, and then there you go. So I'm doing it again. It's my new dishcloth. So pineapple, some people think pineapple is a big deal to cut up and they choose not to buy it for that reason. It's easy, it's so simple. Easy, easy, easy. First, cut off the top. And if you want to be fantastic and you're making a salad or something, plop that in the middle and it looks like a big deal. Now it's all, like, it looks like fancy. Or a barbecue outside, it looks nice. Then flip it over and cut off the bottom. You just want to get rid of the bottom piece. You don't want to take off a lot of fruit. And then pineapples were $2.99 at Freshco, which isn't a bad deal. It's a pretty good deal. Quite often you can get one for $1.99 though, which is a steal. And there's a lot of good eating in a pineapple. For $3, you get a long way. And then you're just taking those sides off. So top and bottom, and then the sides, and just, I mean, you don't need to get every little bit, but if you want to pare it off, you can. And just from the top, and then follow it down and get rid of it. See how easy this is? This isn't hard. I don't know when somebody made out like cutting up a pineapple was going to be, you know, a big ordeal. It's actually, I mean, it's no more work or harder or anything than cutting up any kind of melon, like a cantaloupe or anything. So we just work away at getting the sides off, and you can clean up the edges as you go, just to, I really don't think those little brown bits hurt anybody, but nobody likes to look at them. So trim them off. And again, when you're actually dealing with the individual pieces as we get further along, if you really notice something, you can take it off then. And just comes out. And it's a little sticky, and look at how much it puts in your compost pail, which is fantastic. If you grow a garden, and I'm counting on you, now is the time to place a compost order or sort yourself out. In the next little while, you're going to want to start spreading it around and feeding your dirt. Okay, you got to feed the dirt so it can feed you. Don't leave it alone. Compost, get it on your garden. You can order it from the town. Most municipalities have a program. All those green bins that you fill every week and put out at the curb. Then they create compost, and you can order it from them. And I know you used to be able to, and I'm sure that they still would. You can order, if you've got a big garden or a big property, you can order a dump truck to come and give you a full load of it. So don't be shy about that, or they sell it by the bag. You might have to take your own bags. Okay? You check ahead. Don't assume that they have bags. That looks pretty good. I'm not too worried. I'm going to cut that little bit off right there and call that good enough. Now, you can see the core in the very center. It goes all the way through. So all we want to do is cut just to the side of it, because the core is the core. It's a little bit. So maybe think in terms of about 1 millimeter or so away from it. Take off one big piece, turn it around, do the other side. And get close, but like I say, don't get so close that you end up with some of it. And plop it down, and then the other two sides. Look at how nice this is. This is a nice pineapple. My hand's getting quite sticky. Don't touch flour at this point. And there's the core. There's a piece there that we could take off, and then that's it. The rest of this is for eating, okay? And I usually think about that thickness, and if you see any spots that have a big piece of the skin still on. I saw a comedian one time, and I gotta tell you, every time I cut up a pineapple, I think it, he said, you know, who was the first person to eat the pineapple? That's a scary kind of looking thing growing. And then, I bet that's going to be good. It's kind of, can you imagine? First time, it is a little bit threatening. Maybe that's what the big deal is. It doesn't look like it's going to be delicious. So once you get that, then just into pieces. Think like those little cans of pineapple tidbits, okay? I'm going to cut the rest of this up, put it in a bowl, put it in the fridge. I like pineapple cold. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, these are ready. They look beautiful, and just look at that. Look at these. They look so nice. So, how to know that it's ready? You give a little jiggle. You don't want movement, okay? You don't want jiggle. No jiggle. Give them a little shake and see what's up. And now the cheese. Just sprinkle it on. Even if you put some in already, add a little on top. This is this kind of cheese. I got this at Freshco for $4.44. This is the Italian blend. I want it Swiss Gruyere. This has got Parmesan in it and mozzarella, which isn't ideal, but you know what? It was a great price. And it's going to have, I can smell the smell of the Parmesan and the Asiago, and that's exactly what I wanted. So, do that and leave it be. These need to sit for about 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes, the cheese will melt on the top. Okay, I'll see you then. You can start setting your table. Hi, we're back, and look at these. These look beautiful, right? Look at the pastry and how nice it is. These are gorgeous. You are in for a treat. These came together for, I was given the eggs, but eggs on sale. This is $10 max. And we put it together in a heartbeat. And you've got one for the freezer. As soon as they are fully cooled, so make sure it's completely cooled. Do not check the bottom and make sure you don't feel any heat. As soon as it's completely cooled, wrap it in cellophane and then cover that with foil. Pop it in the freezer. When you're ready to cook it, eventually, just take it straight out, frozen, on a baking sheet and into the oven for 45 to 55 minutes at 350. This is written in the instructions. You're gonna find it. Just don't forget to take the cellophane off before you put it in the oven, okay? Again, that's written down because what I forget to say, I don't forget to write. I already did one cut, so just to make sure, I didn't want it to be a mess on camera, so I did one test cut off camera to make sure. And I usually cut into 6 for quiche because, I mean, it's a meal. It's not a dessert, it's not a snack, it's a meal. So I often cut a 9-inch pie into 8 for dessert, but this 6. And just, my cheese is chasing me. That's that mozzarella. If we hadn't used that mix, if you'd gone straight Swiss, it wouldn't catch like that. That's the mozzarella doing that. Think pizza, right? Cheese on pizza always does that. Now, this is for our fruit, which looks beautiful. Raspberries, did I say $1.99 at for the little half-pint box at Freshco, which is a steal. Oh, it's ready. That's what that's telling us, isn't that funny? Sometimes, you know, timers are great if you want to leave the room because it reminds you to go and check. Look at that. That looks nice. Let's go 2 pieces right off the bat because I think we need to. Look at how pretty that looks and see how nicely it came out. We've got good height, spinach, tomato, all those delicious things. Put some fruit in here. This looks beautiful. What a nice This is just a great meal all around. And think about maybe your Easter morning, Easter brunch, something like that, having this nice meal. And again, go with a side salad or some breakfast potatoes or that sort of thing. Any way you go. I like fruit after eggs. Oh, that one jumped. Haha. I always like fruit after eggs. Something about eggs sits in your mouth and the fruit's lovely. And I want that one to be perfect. I want to pop it over there. There. Look at how nice we've made this. So here we have quiche Florentine with a little mixed fruit on the side. Mix it up, do whatever you want. This is homemade pastry and we still did it in an hour. I mean, if you really wanted to buy pastry, you could, but why? It's really easy, not at all difficult. If you keep enjoying these videos, these recipes, and you're using them at home, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the Westminster Orangeville channel, hit the little bell, share the recipes with your friends, okay? You can do that on Facebook, you can do it however you handle your social media, but share the video, share the recipe, talk to people. In case, if you live in the local area, I should have told you this last week, but it slipped my mind. Making hot cross buns here, homemade hot cross buns. We're going to be making up the dough, we're forming them, we sell them frozen, and then you thaw, rise, and bake at home. It's super easy, they're delicious, you're gonna love them. $1 a piece, $10 for a dozen. If you're interested, today is the last day to order. So today is Friday, April 8th. So end of day today, you have to place your order if you're going to. Just contact Westminster at westminsterorangeville.ca to order those. And in the meantime, enjoy. Next week, we're doing another special Easter brunch idea. Take good care. Bon appetit.